Howdy folks, it's a Saturday morning for me. Soap of the day is going to be Figaro limited edition. Comes in a red container. You can tell I've already scooped some of the soap out of there. It's a fairly soft one. Might call it a crope. It's like a lot of this soap. It's an almond scent per my nose. It's kind of hard for me to find a scent profile on this one there, but I'm pretty sure it's almond. It reminds me of Razor Rock's P160 scent. And I've got it whipped up here in my wooden bowl. This is a, let's see if I can get it, this is an OPAL number 12. This is a vintage brush along with the knot. The knot is original as far as I know. Came in the original box. New old stock, in other words. Got it whipped up here in a bowl from Distinctive Goat. And it's got grooves in the, it's got rings inside of it. You can kind of tell I got lots of lather whipped up here. If I can get it all in the frame. And alum block complete with rubber band. Thayer's Witch Hazel with aloe. And decided to follow this one up. I like to use this one from time to time, regardless what kind of soap I'm using. And I'm going to follow up with some Brut. And the shaver of the day is a straight razor, a vintage straight razor that I got from Jonathan Romanoff. He has the SMG Soaps, that's Shave Master Generals, and he's got a line of soaps and as well as a body bar soap, aftershaves, and he also sells vintage straight razors, what might be referred to as sight unseen. So in other words, you want a vintage razor, you click on the button and he will send you a vintage razor, and no, you don't know what the name of it is. It could be any number of ones that he has, and he's going to send you one shave ready. And that's what I'm going to be shaving with today. I'll get it here in just a moment. If I remember correctly, I believe the ones that he is selling is 5/8. If I remember correctly from one of his videos, he prefers something larger than a 5/8. I kind of lean that direction also. The 6/8 or 13/16, or I think 13/16 is what a lot of the ZY blades are. Guess that might be open for debate, because I'm not real sure. I got lots of lather. The thing is just loaded. This one here, this shaver I got is, see if I can get it straight here. It's going to be hard to see, so I'll do it. It's AW, I think it's Wadsworth and Sons, XLNT, Germany. Has a what I'm going to call plastic scales. So this one, compared to the Green and Slam that I shaved with yesterday, there's a huge weight difference. Besides, you know, the blade's smaller, but even the scales are, of course, going to be quite a bit lighter. So that's something, if you're just starting out, you'll have to weigh how. You have to consider how much you want your straight razor to weigh, because this one here is considerably lighter. Feels a lot different in the hand. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Like I said, I've had this last video, excuse me, I've had this razor for a moment, waiting for this month to roll around, because December was DEs, and now we got January has rolled around. In other words, I'm working through my my rotation, my plan that I've had kind of sort of figured out for quite a while. The soap that I'm using today, Figaro limited edition, in that red container, took quite a bit to find it, and I had found this website once before. Then I guess you might say I thought I bookmarked it, but I guess I didn't because I couldn't find it. And Frank from Shavette World had posted it a while back, and that's how I was able to run this back down again. Yes, there's quite a bit of a story in behind Figaro. The name, in that the I guess maybe the owners of Figaro has been changed a time or two. I'm not sure. I still need to look more into it, but it just seemed like the thread that I was reading indicated that that name had changed hands a time or two. Yeah, I'm trying to watch that spot over there from yesterday. It's doing all right. I just want to make sure I'm not going to open it back up again. Like I like to say, it was a bump. The name that I had ran across into the thread about Figaro, I am unsure whether that name was just a company that distributed it, and TFS made the soap under the name of Figaro. I'm unsure. It was really unclear to me because I had the page translated. So in other words, it was in a different language. So whether the page was translated correctly or not, because some of it was kind of jumbled up. I was looking for more information about Figaro to see what kind of history it had, because I kind of was left with the impression that the name has been around for a moment, but I'm just not sure. I'll figure it out one of these days, maybe. It may take what I've referred to as a few page flips. In order to find it. Because sometimes, you know, when you're researching stuff like this, it's buried deep within. Google does a decent job helping you out finding what you're looking for, but sometimes what you're looking for is not necessarily mainstream, and may be buried in one of those pages deep within that you got to hunt through. That, or I need to figure out a better way of wording what I wanted to find. I try, but sometimes it just, like I say, I just got a lot of page flips in order to get what I'm after. I think if I shaved with a straight razor more on a regular basis, I'd get more proficient at it. Right now I feel pretty comfortable with it. I just feel like I've got room for improvement. And I haven't, this has been a work in progress as it goes for my goatee here. And it's been past time for a trim. And for me, when I trim it, it's not, you know, because I don't do it very often, and I haven't seen it done, at least on a scale that I have. whether or not, you know, exactly what would be the best approach in order to get it done. And so I usually end up waiting till it's way past time to give it a trim in length, shorten it up a little bit, and because it does make me somewhat nervous. Because usually when it seems, the few times that I have done it, it seems to work better for me if I do it, how can you say, all at one time. If I only go to, let's say, a halfway point, that's only half of what I was wanting to trim. The next half to me seems to be more difficult to get it trimmed up the way that I want it to look. And I really don't want to trim too much. And then after I worked up the nerve of trimming it and not trim enough, then, well, then you're looking probably a good long while, and I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get it the way I wanted it. One of those little irritations, I guess you might say. Yeah, I prefer to get it right the first time. If you couldn't tell, there's plenty of slickness. That's what I was testing it out to see how many times I can get back across there. It's pretty good soap, I like it. I haven't been disappointed yet from it. TFS is what I'm referring to. So far I have not had an issue. I really didn't say much about it in the beginning. This does have a tip to it, a point. It's not necessarily like rounded like a number of other shavers that you might see. And I haven't had, it doesn't concern me, I guess you might say. It doesn't make me nervous about the fact that there's a point there. If anything, I like the looks of it. I think I forgot to mention over here on the side I've got a damp towel that I'm wiping most of this off on. Going pretty good. Try to stay fairly quiet and focus on what I'm doing. I think that may have to be close enough for me. It is Saturday. Feel around on there and see how it feels. Tomorrow's shaver is going to be one that the shaver itself is not in the best of shape. Still very much usable, just not the best of shape. And it's one that I got in a lot of razors. And so in other words, once you start breaking it down per piece, how much did I pay per piece? You know, I stole this razor. You know, you're looking at around the $3 mark. And for $3, yeah, that's a darn good buy. And it's a Gillette. It's an adjustable. I think the 109, 108, I can't remember for sure. I have to look it up again. Because it comes in a short version and a long version handled. And I have a tendency to get the numbers confused sometimes. I haven't shaved it with it in a good long while, but it's an adjustable. And it definitely needs a replating job done on it. It's got some pits on the head though, so I'm not too sure how that would work out. There it is. Decided I was going to shave with it tomorrow, and instead of adjusting the settings going from, what I do is I go from high to low. In other words, I start up with the high setting, then work my way down through the 3 passes, and as opposed to start at a lower setting, then work my way up. And I think what I'm going to do on Saturday, not Saturday, Sunday, is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it on setting 9. That's how the settings on this one here is 1 through 9. And I think I'm going to set it on 9 and do all 3 passes on 9, see how it works out for me. Been debating, I have a Persona Med Prep blade that I haven't used just yet, and that or a Lab Blue, or I was thinking about going with a Derby. Not everybody likes Derby blades, and I think to a degree it has some to do with are you matching it up with, in other words, is the blade and the shaver a good match for you? And because I've gotten some really good shaves with Derby blades and some shavers, and then not so good. So I just think that the razor and the shaver was just not a good match. And I think I'm going to go ahead and go with a Derby blade. See how that works out for me. I still have several Derby blades. I do mean several. They're inexpensive, and like I say, if you get the right marriage with the shaver and blade, you get some good shaves. I mean, I got some, one of the first ones that I noticed that the shave was a lot different is I have a, and it's coming up in the rotation pretty soon, is I have a Merkur, I think it's referred to as 1904, 1906 model. It's not the original one, in other words, it's the more modern version of it, and open comb, and got a fantastic shave with that blade and that shaver. And like I said, then other shavers, you know, not so much. So in other words, you got to find the right marriage with what you're using. And for me, that worked out pretty well. But I'm thinking that's the shaver, the Merkur 1904-06. I think that's the one I'm going to use the Med Prep in and give it a shot and see how it works out. Yeah, it's definitely time for a trim, isn't it? Some Brut. This is easy to find. In other words, you can walk into your Target, Walmart, local grocery store, and most generally you'll find Brut. Brut's been around a long time. Matter of fact, this was one of the first ones my parents got me when I first started shaving. When I was a kid. I like the scent. I know it's been around for a while. Maybe that's the reason why some people, how can you say, decide to get away from it, because it has been around for a while, but it's been around for a while for a reason. Yeah, I really like this stuff. Once again, here's my shaver of the day. John Romanoff. I'm torn when it comes to 5/8 and bigger, because 5/8 seems like I'm going to shave with a few more before, I guess you might say, I decide no, I don't want 5/8, I want to go 6/8 and bigger, because I need to shave with it enough to get a good opinion of it. And right now it's really difficult for me to decide, because I don't think I've got enough experience with a straight razor just yet to make that kind of decision. So this could be another year out before I decide. I know the next straight razor though is this is a gold dollar W59, and as you can tell, it's that one that looks like it's custom. And this one here though, from what I understand from more than one person, not exactly fun to hone. And so last time I rounded the edge before I got a good shave with it, and I'm going to find out whether or not that has any bearing on what the shave is like in between a stainless steel as opposed to maybe a carbon steel blade. At any rate, had a great shave. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe and smooth shaves to you.